Uh, I'm okay. I definitely ate way too much last night at dinner. I'm feeling sick today. And then I ordered a decaf coffee, but it was a regular. So now I'm feeling crazy and super full and I have no appetite and I'm starved. So I'm like, my insides feel very mixed up.
Here we are, and welcome to a futuristic episode of the Friday Night Movie Podcast, because today we're going to talk about something from the past, but that told the future is the best way I can describe this. Because Becky, Lily, and I were introduced by Shelly and Devin, who are here as our guests today. Welcome.
Hello. Hi.
Hello.
We were introduced.
First time. Yeah. First time on the pod.
Not the first time. Shelly's been on the show before.
I went when we did Matthew Perry's
I'm
episode.
trying to do an introduction here, Lily. It's Devin's first time on the pod.
It is my first time. Thank you for having me.
And it's his birthday.
This
is your present. Happy birthday.
Thank you. I'm honored. This is great.
This whole buildup I was doing to the topic. So yes. It's a future telling episode because we went back in time and we learned about something that Becky, Lily, and I missed because of our generational difference. We are quite older than Shelly and Devin. And there's something called a DCOM. And aside from the fact that these are movies, which Shelly and Devin will explain what they are, they also weirdly predicted futuristic trends and inventions in what were run-of-the-mill television movies, which kind of blew my mind when we watched these movies. But I think there are people who listen to this show or who grew up in the 90s that know what a DCOM is. I did not know what a DCOM was at all. Shelly and Devin, happy birthday, yes. Can you explain to us what a DCOM is?
So a DCOM is a Disney Channel original movie. And these are...
Right, so it's not even a D-level comedy, which is what I thought it meant, which I was excited for because I like D and C movies. And this is how they were marketed to you?
Yeah, the Disney Channel original movies, they would come out on Friday nights, and there was a really
cool Friday night movie then.
Yeah, it was essentially it was the Friday night movie, and there was like a special intro. The intros changed over the years. Like the one that we remember from our childhood is this like car opening up, turning into a movie theater.
It's a convertible.
It's like very futuristic. And that was like the cue of the Disney Channel original movie. And it was, a feature to watch on a Friday night at home.
So aside from the fact that the content of these were weirdly clairvoyant, this is also in a sense streaming before streaming.
Yeah.
Because these are original, and these are TV movies, but they're more than TV movies because there's so many of them were made just to get you to watch the Disney Channel.
I would say so. I also distinctly remember as a child watching the Disney Channel, them really shamelessly advertising these movies. Like the commercials were on constantly, nonstop. Between every single Disney Channel show, they were advertising their own movies, of course. It would just, as a child, it just made you really wanted to see it.
Were you just so excited because it was a movie? Like just, oh my God, a movie. Like I remember when they would have the ABC or CBS movie of the week, no matter what it was, I would tape it because, oh my God, a movie's on television. I'm going to watch Lock Up or Commando. It was often those movies.
I mean, it was very exciting that they were movies and they were movies designed for us. Like we were the target audience. And a lot of the actors also, there's a lot of overlap amongst the DCOMs. So it's like you spot your favorite, Disney Channel actor. Yeah.
Were you watching the Disney Channel on Saturday mornings or every day after school that you're getting these ads preparing
all the above
for the premiere?
I would say every day. Watching the Disney Channel every day.
Every day. Yeah.
We did not have the Disney Channel.
This is pre-streaming.
Mm-hmm.
No, but we had in Canada we had YTV.
which was a mix of Nickelodeon and more Nickelodeon than Disney Channel. But yeah, I remember there was
Canadian
1 week
content.
where we had a free week of the Disney Channel or something like that. And it was a major event in Canada. And then you had to pay for it, and we never got it again after that.
And then our kids are growing up with like Disney Plus, the app, where it's takes what you guys grew up with and multiplies it by 1 billion. We grew up with our 1,000 VHSs of the Disney classics that mom had, and that was it. They have the Disney Channel, and now our kids have every Disney content at their fingertips. It's pretty wild.
I was reading about this. It seems that our kids also experience DCOMs today, that movies like The Descendants and High School, the musical or whatever it's called, those are classified as DCOMs as well.
Right. Like my kids love the zombie movies, which are original Disney movies, but they only play on Disney Plus.
I think we
the only
like
place you can see
when
them.
we
You can
think
buy
of
them. You
DCOM,
can buy
production
them.
value has
Or
gone
you
up.
could buy them. Production value is way up from.
Compared to High School Musical to Luck of the Irish, it's a
No,
different.
but like if you go Luck of the Irish, High School Musical, Zombies, there's like some serious
Don't forget
increase in
Descendants.
production
Descendants
value.
is some serious
God.
quality
The newer ones are very different, but like the way I define a DCOM is like movies from the late 90s, early 2000s that were like we were the target audience for.
Did you watch these with your parents?
I don't know. I watched these. I think they were appropriate enough, and I was old enough to watch them on my own. I know Mindy didn't necessarily watch with me because I think they were a little bit young for her, since she's 5 years older than me. Like she was not the target audience.
But I feel like what makes a DCOM uniquely a DCOM and not like the other stuff they have now is, like you were saying at the beginning, the event around it and the lack of other content.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is what you had,
Or going to the movies. Wait, so what were let's just key this up. What were the shows you were watching that this was advertised during that was on the Disney Channel? Was this like The Sweet Life and Zack and Cody and Cheetah Girls and things like that? I don't know if
those came later.
Hannah Montana.
Hannah Montana. I think
iCarly.
I was no, I'm too old for iCarly. Those came later though. Like for example,
DCOMs are before those.
Yeah, like the DCOMs that we picked for this are all from the 90s. You're talking more like early 2000s. But
so what were the shows you watched?
The only shows I'm aware of that you watched were Charmed and One Tree Hill.
Those are not on the Disney Channel. Those are UPN
I know they're not on the
shows.
Disney. I know, but I'm saying those are the.
okay, so Lizzie McGuire. I was a big fan of Lizzie.
All right.
Oh, there we go, Lizzie McGuire.
DuckTales was a show I used to watch when I was younger.
DuckTales holds up. They didn't even need to remake it. The remake is good too, but DuckTales holds up.
Classic.
Yeah, I mean there were
the Disney Afternoon. So that was big, the Disney Afternoon. That was on the Disney Channel for you?
Yeah.
In Canada, those shows were on other random channels for us. So the Gummy Bears and Tailspin and DuckTales. Oh my God, Gummy Bears, greatest all-time theme song. Okay. All right, now let's get into DCOMs. You did something I thought was brilliant for this episode. You assigned a different DCOM to each sibling. Please walk us through your choices and why you picked that.
Okay. So, it was very, very obvious to me that Lily should watch Johnny Tsunami because of the surfing, snowboarding connection. And I think being transplanted into another place seemed like a natural fit. And I thought she could watch it with her husband and her kids. I thought that would be fun.
Which I did.
For Shai, I felt like Smart House was a very natural connection because of the futuristic, the technology. And just like the family vibes.
But I will say, Shai, after we assigned Smart House to you, we also thought of about 3 other DCOMs. I'm like, oh, Shai would love this one. This would fit Shai very well.
You probably could have also been a great candidate for Alley Cat Strike.
It's not bowling.
Yeah, but I think you would have appreciated it a lot.
I would love
Well, I really appreciated it. I felt seen by Smart House. I really felt great that that was the pick. I felt like you really were thinking of me and my desire for techie things around my house.
I will say I was a little surprised when we rewatched it. Some of the themes I wasn't like the biggest fan of, but the tech vibes were like, that's what I was going for. And then for Becky, the idea was like something really iconic. And Brink was the third DCOM ever made. And for us has some of the most, like, we quote it all the time. We say lines from that movie all the time. And so there was a very
what is Brink about?
It's about rollerblading, which makes sense because Becky was really just telling me how her family is all about extreme sports. They don't play ball sports, so rollerblading it fits right into their wheelhouse.
That is true. And I just want to say we were really hard on Josh on the last episode, and
I don't even remember what for.
You know what? Neither do I. I
for
felt
ordering
bad.
a tuna melt in Banff. What were we hard on him for?
No,
or let that go.
We're harder. It had to do with the bear, but I just want to say,
like he didn't like the episode of the bear.
Few people have kept rollerblading alive like that man has kept rollerblading alive.
So this is a wreck for Josh.
Yeah, so Josh should watch Brink. So I just wanted to say something nice.
I can't wait to talk about it.
Okay. All right, so that's how you pick them, and I thought the picks were brilliant all around. I loved mine. I maybe I'll just start off talking a little bit about it, and then Becky and Lily
pitch it to me and Lily.
Okay, so, well, I mean, the general pitch is this kid wins a smart house in a competition.
Oh, I like
because he figures out how to send the most electronic mail entries, which is what they refer to it as, electronic mail. Eventually,
how amazing is that? So
eventually they call it email later, but I'm sure there was a note.
I have that.
People were like, nobody knows what email is. You're going to have to say what it is. So a kid wants to win a contest, and everybody knows, by the way, in town, he is trying to win this contest. Like all of his friends at school were like, oh my God, are you going to win the contest?
Is no one else trying to win the contest?
I mean, there are other people, but he figures out how to send the most electronic mails. Like he hacks the system, and he has 50% of the entries into this contest. And with the winner,
he's a cheater.
I mean, it's not cheating.
He
system.
He just has the most email addresses in 1997. I think that's when this movie came out.
99.
99. Okay, and the winner gets their house turned into a smart house, which like today is a normal thing.
Yeah.
People are
literally called that. It's literally
smart home. It's called smart home, but it's the same. It's he literally he wins an Alexa.
He wins like an Alexa and a Nest.
Yeah, he wins an Alexa. It does a few other things that I don't think houses can do yet, but a lot of the things it can do can happen now. But
what are some of the things it can't do yet? That's what I'm interested in.
Well, not that it can't do. So first of all, it interestingly, like Alexa, it has a female voice. I guess this is something that people just assumed would have to be the case. It is voiced by the legendary Katie Seagal, or Siegel, depending how you pronounce her last name. I never pronounce it right. But who of Sons of Anarchy, but also she's on the Futurama, right? Like a legendary, not just voice actor, and Married with Children. So this is, and she is on the cover of this, of the box art. Yep. Does not appear until the last 5 minutes of the movie. Just her voice. But it raises...
Her face eventually appears, or you mean her voice?
Yeah, she does, because eventually... So he wins this thing. Now, the catch is his father is a widow, and his father is played by somebody who might as well looks Huey Lewis. It's not Huey Lewis, but it might as well be Huey Lewis. And he's a widower, and the scientist who invented the smart home is very pretty. Mm-hmm. And the smart home like all smart homes, does not work properly. Like it works on like the first day, and then there's a million glitches and things and whatever. So the very pretty,
she's pretty. No,
the pretty scientist has to keep coming to the house and doing tech support.
Yes,
and she falls in love with the dad, but the son doesn't want his dad to have happiness.
okay.
and
Really
date
sad.
anyone else, which is a very kind of sad. Like at the same time, I'm like, I don't know how if I was a teenager trying to win smart houses, I might not want my dad dating the smart house tech support. And so,
wait, wouldn't you want your dad? Yeah. Wouldn't you want your dad dating the smart house tech support so you could continue to have the smartest house out there?
I don't know, but he goes and then he hacks the system and removes all of the personality controls on the smart house so that it will try to become the best mother possible and replace his mother so the dad doesn't find a new mother for them.
Yeah, it's kind of sad.
And then Katie Siegel, like, kind of the house comes alive and it does things like the father tells the kid to make new friends. The house hears it and then sends electronic mail to all of the kids in the school and invites them all to a party at the house that the house sets up. So the kids hanging out at home and all these kids show up. And even the school bully, somehow the house knows he's being bullied. And then a giant robot tentacle arm comes out of the ceiling and beats up this kid's friend. And then you can see he's struggling with the morality of his... I mean, the beautiful thing about this being this Disney Channel movie is nobody's bad. Everybody is very sympathetic and trying to do the right thing. Like, this kid realizes that his smart house is getting out of control. But even the smart house isn't that evil. It just wants to be a good mother. and because the kid reprogrammed him.
Was there like a clear lesson that the movie was teaching you?
Yeah, the lesson is you can supplement lost family members with technology.
Yeah.
And your dad, you can accept your dad's future girlfriend if she can do tech support. I think that's how it ends up. That's how the story ends up.
But then how does Katie Siegel come to life?
Because
she becomes self-aware.
Weird science. So she becomes self-aware because the boy really, really wants this house to almost replace his mother, like to replace
he'd rather have the house replace his mother than
a real person.
The attractive human that would date his dad.
Agreed. But the part that I thought was very odd, Shai, and I completely forgot about this as a child, and this is like this new age generative AI. He breaks into like the tech office and feeds this house a bunch of like
50s,
60s, 70s motherly content. So then the house is mimicking this very strict 60s, 70s motherly,
like very stereotypical, like mom from the 50s.
She's like,
it's a beaver.
Exactly. Yes. She's learning from these videos he's playing on her. So he changed her programming. Yeah,
that is true. That is true. There's a whole generative AI piece, and then eventually, to become the like ultimate mom, she makes a projection of herself. Actually, many projections of herself. So then it goes from no Katie Siegels to
many,
30 or something like that. But somehow I think they all live together in happiness at the end. Like the kid gets to keep the smart house and the dad gets to keep the girlfriend. And then there's like there's some funny moments where the house is making food for the kid where like he's like, I want a milkshake. And then it just comes out of the table. Mm-hmm. That was kind of neat. That hasn't happened yet.
But it hasn't, but it doesn't not exist when you know about all like the smart sort of cookware that exists now, like the ovens and these different things where you like bleep blop bloop a button and it like Back to the Future you a pizza. Like that stuff is not that far away.
Yeah, and this is also for my daughter. The microwaves have had a baked potato setting for a really
long time.
But Shai, do you think how old were you guys when you saw this? Give me an age.
6 or 7.
It came out in 99, so we were probably 7.
Shai, 7-year-old Shai would have loved this.
This movie?
Yeah.
44-year-old Shai loved this movie. It was so cute.
All right. I feel it's like you've made a great case for Smart House.
Yeah, I mean, but if I had been the right age, this would have been what our Friday night movies would have been. This would have easily been one of these movies. I mean, it's awesome. There's no stakes.
Also, I just feel like I know that Disney has leveled up with the content that they're making, but they just don't make movies like they used to.
No, they don't.
Can't make a movie like this anymore.
No.
Well, there's no musical numbers, and all the Disney movies now have a very intense soundtrack.
A lot. Yeah.
That's true.
I really enjoyed it. It was very cute and cool. And I think because of the way movies are made now, I think if you don't show it to kids when they're young enough, they won't be able to enjoy something without the current production value. But if I had made my kids watch this when they were younger, they would be like, oh, we love this movie. Let's watch it over and over.
Right. Like I tried to show Ari Short Circuit yesterday.
Lily.
Or Saturday. And
Short Circuit's got other issues.
It's got other issues, but we loved that movie as a kid, and he was like, "This looks too old. Turn it off."
But it stars the great Steve Guttenberg.
Yeah. Do you guys have? I know the cast is amazing. Do you guys have notes on Smart House? They have so many notes.
We have notes. Mostly like, should we just run them down?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. So first note, because we also watch these movies like within a few days of each other, the sister in Smart House is the same sister as the sister in Brink. And she's on rollerblades in Smart House, which we felt like was on to Brink because Brink came out first.
Oh my God, this is amazing. All these connections.
Serious, like
the dad in Smart House is also in a few. He's like a Disney Channel movie dad. He's a dad in a couple of movies.
Oh, okay. That's Huey Lewis guy. He looks just like Huey Lewis.
They have a dog named Mutt. It's just comical. Electronic mail, email.
When the bully gave him a black eye at school, the Smart House's solution was, here, put this cold steak on it. I don't know if that's something they did in the 50s. Like, I don't know.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Another comment, the internet ties up the phone line. So that was, back in the day.
Do you remember that? That did happen.
Couldn't make a phone call because someone was on the internet.
Yes. Really interesting that middle school children are reading newspapers and very in tune with the articles that are coming out on the day-to-day in newspapers.
That's true. They were all following the development of the Smart House in the newspaper and who was going to win the house.
So the name of the Smart House is PAT, Personal Applied Technology. We had been trying to figure out what it was until they told us. Mm-hmm. The storyline about the mom and Ben not wanting her to be replaced is sad. Like, there's some sad themes through this movie. What's that?
Just lost on that one.
Okay.
That's the one you have to say.
Okay. Okay. The malfunction with the oranges when they're making a smoothie, that got kind of scary when the oranges were attacking them.
Okay. Yeah. But that was the level of threat in this movie. Like, a bully gets kind of pushed by a robot arm and oranges.
Dad doesn't get a girlfriend. Like, that's
something that we
which I think is appropriate for the audience. Like,
during the house party that Pat threw, one of the kids at the party said, "This party's gonna be harder than Robin Schiff's bat mitzvah."
Harder to get into.
Harder to get into. Did you hear that one?
Yeah. I forgot about that line. That's a great line.
One other thing was they have on the TV MPC, music party television, instead of MTV, because I guess they couldn't put that in.
It's pretty funny.
Jump, the house is jumping is one of the most iconic scenes with music that we remember from this movie, and they all kind of do a
I forgot. Wait, what was I saying? The songs in this movie.
Yeah.
This song did have an unbelievable soundtrack. I was Shazamming all the way through the some of these songs were real. Jump, the house party was not, though. It was made for the movie, but you can't just find it.
That was one of the most iconic parts of the movie. And the dance that they do to it, they have like a synchronized, they all break into this dance that must have been from maybe a music video or whatever. And that's one of the most things that I like tie to this movie. And I think...
But there's a scene where they're dancing to this music video by this band called B, the letter B, Witched, called C'est la vie.
Yeah.
That was pretty amazing.
That was awesome. And then the last thing, I very much have a sense memory of what the first time I saw Smart House, and when Pat gets really upset and her like emotions are the weather and she makes like a tornado and then she's sad and it starts raining and crying and but otherwise those were our notes.
And the house has floor absorbers, so if you spill, it just absorbs. I mean, that was maybe where is that invention? Let's get that, people.
Brilliant.
But I will say, whenever I see Katie Seagal in any movie,
that's what we think of.
I think of Smart House. It's the first thing that comes to my head.
That's
adorable.
It's just
that's how we identify.
That's
her.
amazing.
Even though she's a very famous actress from long before.
Or even the voice, because she's not like you don't see her until the end of the movie. If I hear her voice, I'm like, oh, this is the. I've said this before. Shell, this is the one from. This is bad.
We watched Lost, and she's John Locke's girlfriend, and we're like, oh my god, it's from Smart House. It's the mom. Pat.
Smart House. Amazing.
You're not going to be able to watch ever like Sons of Anarchy because you can
I don't know if you'll be able to handle Sons of Anarchy.
Massive, like she's the big villain, and so
it would take us really out of the storyline, really, to see her in any other context.
It would really mess with your head. Yeah. She's far more dangerous in that than when she is attacking kids with oranges. All right, let's move on to Lily's movie.
I'm gonna be relatively quick because I feel like we really need to get into Becky's. So I'm going to be as brief as possible. I mean, I loved mine. Mine was absolutely perfect for my family. I'll be very quick. It's a kid who's the best surfer in all of Hawaii. I think he's like 13 or 14.
13-ish.
13-ish. He's the best surfer in Hawaii. He surfs pipeline and they show you pipeline and there's like a 45-year-old surfing it. And they're like, that's him. But they just like put this like it just switches, the screen switches
like
to
we
like
were
content
watching,
of like an adult surfer.
And then he
just like B-roll of an adult surfer.
Right. A B-roll of an adult surfer this is the most dangerous wave in the world. And they just show you obviously an adult surfing it. And then they just cut to him like completely dry coming out of the water with a surfboard. And he just like crushed that wave. So that was that's how the movie begins. And you're literally like, this is going to be amazing. That sets up for you how amazing this movie is going to be. He comes from his grandfather is the greatest surfer in Hawaii as well. Johnny Tsunami is the grandfather's name. There's an award that's given every year to the best surfer called the Johnny Tsunami Award. Yeah. Something like that, right? Mm-hmm. But lo and behold, his dad, who's the bad guy in Karate Kid 2, just for the record, the Japanese guy who's the bad rivalry for Daniel.
Chosen.
Yes.
Chosen.
I love that guy.
He's the dad in this movie. He's not nice.
He's also kind of the villain.
He's like to the very last minute when he like throws a party for everyone for no reason. Quick. There's a very radical change of character because he's so mean the whole movie. At the end, he's like, let's go have a party at my house. Besides that, he's a pretty bad dude. And then, the dad has seemed to have possibly invented Google Drive, which he calls like the intranet sharing files for school.
Oh, so they're
schools.
Even more futuristic telling.
Absolutely. The show predicts Google Drive because the dad is like, his company has made an intranet invention where you can share files for schools and they need to move to New England, but then it's Vermont. So
Vermont is New England.
Is it? I asked Becky
Lily.
then, and she was like, "No, it's not."
Absolutely, it's New England.
What's New England, guys?
New England is Massachusetts, Rhode Island.
Patriots. What?
Yeah. New England.
Oh my God! Becky did not know this. Becky didn't know this.
Not a state.
It's.
New England's not a state.
Guess why it's called New England?
What is it? Then it's not a state. It's a region.
It's a region of.
Is that like
early
saying
colonies of the United States?
God,
so is that like saying like the Southwest or the Northeast? You saying New England?
It's a grouping of
New England. No, it's more like saying the Bible Belt, or it's. But New England is like a very specific Massachusetts, Maine, Vermont.
No one knows that Vermont is in that.
Literally nobody knows this information. New England is clearly
when I hear New England, I just think
Boston,
Rhode Island, and I think
the Netherlands and
Holland. Connecticut is also in New England.
New England Patriots, but people make such a big deal
that they're from Boston.
But they're not
Also,
like, the New England
100%.
Patriots
I forgot
from
New.
Vermont.
I forgot New Hampshire and New Hampshire.
No one,
That's also a made up place.
Literally,
I thought
nobody has ever said
thought
the
the
Patriots and
Netherlands-
thought Vermont.
Like the Netherlands is also Holland. It's a nickname. I thought New England is a nickname for Boston.
Well, no, I learned what New England was from
For
camp.
Massachusetts. I thought New England was a nickname for
Or
Massachusetts.
Massachusetts. Yeah.
I learned it from
Okay.
camp because Maccabia, they do it by your regions, and New England was one of those regions, and EPA was always grouped with New England.
Yeah, New England, and that's
What
where the
about-
kids from Vermont and New Hampshire.
What about Maine? Is Maine part of that?
Yes, it's all that group in the top right of the United States.
It's a vowel wise. Sometimes it is.
Sometimes it isn't. Yeah. Sometimes Y is a vowel. Anyway, so I thought there was like a serious content issue, like a continuity issue in this show, in the movie, because they say they're moving to New England, but then they moved to Vermont, and I was like, that's not New England. Anyways, Becky agreed with me, so I turned to Becky for
100%.
advice, and she clearly didn't know. So they moved to Vermont, where they live at a ski resort,
Yeah.
where there's a private school, because like they clearly live at the base of the mountain. There are the rich private school ski kids who all wear the same snowsuit.
Yep, it's like a uniform.
It's a uniform, but there's no official.
Yeah, like but like the
all
ski team
dress
kids
alike.
who wear like the Helly Hansons.
Yes, but there is no official ski team. They're the Skies.
Yeah, the Skies.
There's the Skies, and the kids that go to
the Rebels. They're called the Rebels.
No, they're the like private school.
As a Paw Patrol joke.
Oh. Okay. Well, then the kids that go to the public school who are poor, who clearly they're the urchins, but they can afford ski passes because they all go to this resort. So like, how poor could they be? Because everybody's paying for season passes for a ski resort. The mountain's divided into urchins and skies. And you can't snowboard if you go to the private school. But because he's a surfer and the ski team are so mean to him, he joins up with the public school kids to learn how to snowboard. And I really thought about this. I think the lesson of the movie is that you don't have to practice sports to be good at them.
Yes.
I thought the lesson was that.
No, go ahead.
It's just
What?
that
You can not ever have snowboarded in your life, and then you're an expert snowboarder that day.
Yes.
I mean, that just says something about snowboarding.
well, in the movie, the people that snowboarded were much more welcoming to this outsider than the private schools people.
Yeah, because back in the 90s, they would take anyone as a snowboarder. They were just happy anyone was
Really
willing to
true.
try
They needed numbers.
The movie has amazing lines in it.
Also, I will say snowboarding, which I do have respect for the sport and the people who do it well. The barrier for entry is somewhat lower than skiing. Like when you go to a mountain, there are far more idiots who have never been on skis before, just flopping around the mountain on a snowboard, than you see beginner skiers. Because I think people think, oh, I'll use that one board. I won't have to worry about two. I'll learn this sport.
Well,
But I think it takes a longer time to get good at snowboarding than it does skiing.
Okay, well, one of the best parts of this movie is the line that he's the first one from the academy to cross the line into the snowboarding. At some point, he gets sad, and him and his friends sneak onto a military plane and fly back to Hawaii so they can catch some waves. That part didn't seem very realistic. But okay, whatever. And then his grandpa brings him back. His grandpa, who's obviously an expert snowboarder, the first day that he snowboards.
I mean, if he's the best surfer ever, he's going to be an expert snowboarder.
He's fine. He's like, cool, I got this. And there's like a final competition. I will say the bad kid, like the biggest bully on, I don't remember his name, Brett. Yeah. On the skier team, definitely doesn't learn a lesson. He's terrible. And like they make sure he like falls on his face and is shunned at the end of the movie. He is not included at the party that they all have. He's a bad guy and he learns no
He's
lesson.
not even invited to the party.
No, he's not invited to the party. The other kids on the team who
Not all
like,
bad guys learn
accepted him.
lessons. There are kids
No,
that were
not all
dicks
bad
when we were
guys learn
kids that are
lessons
also
in this.
dicks now.
The other kids get kind of like accept him, and then you find out that there were brothers that owned the mountain, that they divided it, and now they're going to join the mountain together so snowboarders and skiers can be together. But I'm like, isn't it safer for snowboarders just to like have their half pipe on
So
one side?
this is the origin story of why I got to ski around snowboarders all day?
Yes, 100%. And no one is wearing helmets and doing crazy stunts. It's very obvious none of the actors are actually doing any of the sports in this movie. It's just like adults doing the sports, and it's just like B-roll from, I think, like sports movies, and they just cut it in. And then Ari loved it. Like my 8-year-old loved it. My 3-year-old said, and I quote, "This is so boring." So he was not a fan, but everybody else loved it.
No, it was funny. At one point during the movie, the principal was actually trying to convince the main character not to snowboard. Like the principal of the school is like, "That's not what we do."
Like it's snowboarding and then it's heroin. Like that seems to be the track for kids who snowboard.
As he's talking to the kid has his uniform on.
I'm not entirely against that logic.
I listen, Lily identifies with Shane in season 1 of White Lotus. He booked the pineapple suite. He didn't get the pineapple suite. Shai and I very much understand where the principal and where the ski team is coming from. We're like, yeah, snowboarders are trash. I can't believe you would associate yourselves with it. Like everybody has their thing.
But as he's talking to the kid, he doesn't have a white undershirt under his uniform jacket. He has a Hawaiian shirt, so it's just like I don't know. I wouldn't be able to talk to him with a straight face with the Hawaiian shirt, sport coat.
He was a cool kid.
Well, I don't think you should be mocking his culture, Devin. Okay.
They made him
Johnny Tsunami.
It's a uniform. It's a
Wait,
uniform.
how old is the grandfather?
The grandfather looks like he could be maybe like 50.
Yeah, he acts like a kid, which is, I guess, the theme. And the dad very much hates the grandpa.
Yeah.
He
hates fun.
He hates fun. He's just a really like wet blanket.
He just wants him to study and be able to do the intranet.
The grandfather has a lot of very wise, like one-line sayings, and he really reminded Shelly and I of Uncle Iroh from Avatar. He was very like the old wise one who was like more fun than the dad. The kid really connected with the grandfather much more than his dad.
And his dad.
Oh, Cary Hiroyuki Tagawa. I love him. Are you kidding me?
He's been in everything.
Oh my God, he's in Mortal Kombat. He's in Rising Sun. What a great! I love him.
He's great. He's great.
Right in. Oh, I love him.
So I did mine in 11 minutes. All right, next. Unless you have anything else to say about Johnny Tsunami.
You didn't mention his nickname, Pono.
Pono means goodness.
Oh yeah, his grandfather calls him Pono, and he says bra.
Yeah, there's a lot
other
of
word
slang.
Is bra.
What's bra?
I will say one thing is they define surfing, what it means to them: respect for nature, courage to surf, and brotherhood.
Yeah.
So this is another movie that has another, like, to me, iconic person holding down the cast for I guess the older. Oh wow! It has Gregory Itzin, who played the vice president in 24.
And some serious. Been in a ton of stuff.
Oh no, is that correct? Yeah. Oh my God, there.
I feel like
some serious powerhouses in this.
The one thing I will say, the final race at the end between the snowboarders and the skiers reminds us a lot of the final race in Brink. In that,
I think it's the same scene. They just green screen some snow,
and the asshole bully guy cheats. He tries to like hurt him. That's right. And like we had also just watched Brink, and we're like, this is not an original thought, but the other, totally Nectar. Yeah, the little one-liners were amazing. Just like his slang from Hawaii and the 90s.
I think it's what they think Hawaii slang is.
Yes,
because I don't know if people in Hawaii say totally.
So, and you're saying the dad is played by Yuji Okamoto, who is the villain in Karate Kid Part 2, Chosen.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Oh, he's good to play a stick in the mud for that era. That's great. Now I think on Cobra Kai he's much cooler, but I haven't watched Cobra Kai in a while. So
but he's great.
He has a very aggressive arc. All of a sudden at the end, he's like, "We're having a party and everyone's invited."
That's his
last after he's been like the worst the whole movie.
Yeah. He does a real 180.
Compensating. He's compensating.
And they're also like, all of a sudden, you can go live in Hawaii with your grandfather and we won't raise you if you want to serve. Yeah. Like, that was weird. And he was like, no, I'll stay with you, mom and dad. I snowboard now. The ending was a little rushed. The arcs and the ending were a little bit rushed, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
All right, Becky, you're up. I'm so excited for Becky's.
So I just want to say from the moment Brink begins, I think what it gets, okay, so there's certain things it gets really, really right, which is what I'm gonna start off with. And then there's other bets that it made that maybe paid off with Smart House about the future that it didn't pay off for our future. So the bet that it obviously made, which didn't, pay off, is rollerblading. Like rollerblading.
Josh Crew is rollerblading right now. He's actually jumping rope. He's jumping rope while rollerblading. No shirt on.
Let's just we're going to talk about it with the understanding that it made certain, really risky bets with Smart House and Google Drive for Johnny
those came
Tsunami.
True.
But that came true. But rollerblading didn't pan out the way that. And the best part of this is that the skateboarders in this movie are never seen because rollerblading is all anyone wants to do. So there's a small cluster of skateboarders that get mentioned but you never see. Okay, now what does it get so right that from the moment the first shot appears, you see our first character, I go, oh my God, I'm brought back to, what year did this come out? 98. 99? Okay, 98. I was I could be in my 8th grade class with this, the 90s boy face. Do you know what I mean, Lily, when I say a 90s boy face?
Yes, I'm
there's just a certain face that they had in the 90s.
Devin seemed to be a huge 90s star because he's
with
on the Princess Diaries.
With the hair.
Princess Diaries, right, yeah.
The floppy 90s hair, the 90s boy look. There was such a specific look that it is chef's kiss, DCOM. That stands the test of time. That's pure nostalgia. So what is Brink about? What is the lesson? I wrote it down. Hold on. They actually tell you what the lesson is at the end. Hold on.
While you're looking that up.
We have it written down.
Oh,
no, I want to hear.
Well, I guess it's not. It's basically win or lose. Skating is what we do. It's about being a soul skater, doing what you love for the love of it, not for the fame, not for the money, not for the popularity or the accolades. These are 14-year-olds. They do it because they love it. So that's what it's about. So Brink is about a group of best friends who are soul skaters. That means they skate for the love of it. But yet they also participate in competition. So what they mean is that they want to compete and win, but they don't want to be sponsored. So they just want to make it as difficult on themselves as possible.
That's like this podcast.
Yes.
We're soul podcasters.
Love it.
So
trademark that.
So they don't want to have a coach. They don't want to have any financial support for new equipment. They don't want to have any sort of formal adults or any. They just skate for the love of it. Although the sponsor team, my note is, where are the adults? Why don't they have a coach? What is this sponsorship? There's this 15-year-old who's just in charge of everyone. So they're the soul skaters. And then they have a rivalry with we're going to pronounce it the way they pronounce it, which is the X-Blades team. But Blades is spelled B-L-A-D-Z. So technically,
they're the X-Blades.
They're the X-Blades.
Well, actually, they'd be the X-Blades.
The Zablades. So they're technically, and they're in a rivalry. Now, all of these kids go to the same high school. They're all 14 years old. Maybe 15 is what they're supposed to be. Because none of them know how to drive a car because they take the bus everywhere in their rollerblades. So none of them, they're under 16 on the bus, obviously.
Josh
they
is
blade
in
everywhere.
rollerblades on a city bus right now.
Jumping rope. Listening to this podcast. So they have a big rivalry. There's a big competition coming up, and we learn that the captain of the Soul Skaters, Brink, his families might be on financially hard times. It's unclear because his dad he's been out on workers' comp for 6 months, and he's supposed to go back to work. And he's worried about when is he going to go back to his same job. So they're not actually on financially hard times, but they might potentially could be facing them in the future. And based on this, he decides he needs to join the Explods because they're sponsored and he could get $200 a week. So based on that, he completely...
I'd love $200 a week to do this podcast.
He completely betrays his friends, does not tell them he's joining the Explods, then furthermore, not only competes with the Explods, but tricks his own team into dropping out of the competition so they don't find him out.
Storyline, I think. I mean, yours has an edible complex, Shai, but Becky's, I think, is very complex.
She's also explaining it very, very well.
Brilliant.
It's not... So the thing about Brink is that he is a sweet, endearing character. You really do love him, and you want him to be okay with his friends in the end and win. But, like, he consistently makes terrible decisions and does very awful things to betray his friends based on nothing. And, like, the character that I think shines, who's my MVP of this movie? It's Gabriella.
Gabriella is cool.
Gabriella is she is like, I believe she's like first generation Peruvian, like, you know, and when he's like, but I needed the money, she just looks at him and she goes, everybody needs the money. And he's just like, whoa, Gabriella speaking truth, you know? And she's so tough, and she gets really badly injured. I don't want to ruin it, but it was like very upsetting. My children, from that moment on, every time we pass a little bit of gravel in the street, they're like, is that what Gabriella tripped on during the race? It's gravel dangerous. Do we have gravel in our house? Do I have to worry about gravel? When I'm rollerblading, will there be gravel on the ground? So I was like, first of all, you're never rollerblading.
You can't rollerblade because they don't make them anymore.
And listen, it all works out through some fun hijinks and some very big emotional moments. There is a really great, I would say, father. It's like, again, misunderstanding between father and son. The father doesn't like him rollerblading, you know, get a real job, you know, that kind of thing. And then eventually they all come to understand each other. And it all works out and they have a few good moments. Another sort of like standout character is the villain. Again, one of these like completely irredeemable villains. All the other villains like turn around and they have like little mini arcs and they start to root for our good guys and they all become friends. But Val just stays rotten from beginning through the end. He is just rotten to the core. And I appreciate how in these DCOMs, like, not everybody needs an arc. Not everybody needs to be a hero. Some people are just rotten teenagers, and that's okay. So that's Brink. I loved it. I would say like some of my standout moments are like watching it for the nostalgia was the lingo. Peace out, mad cool, calling like things fat, but PHAT, like cool, fat. And it's just, again, it felt so much like an adult writing what a kid might say. Mm-hmm. But I think like slang didn't turn over as quickly in the 90s. Like now, if you were to write something with teenage slang, by the time it came out in 6 months or a year, it would be completely different. And like those terms were around for a while back then. And, you know, Brink, there's some really good moments in terms of words of wisdom. Win or lose, skating is what we do. And Shelly, Devin, ready? Skate better!
What? Skate better.
That's the advice.
There's in the competition phase where like between events, he goes up to see his parents and his sister. And like he kind of had a bad run and he's like, you know, like they really need to kick it into gear to win. And the advice given is skate better. And then he's like, oh yeah, skate better. And like Devin and I, this was like the most iconic line from the movie that we say to each other all the time. I think in our heads, we thought it was a little bit more significant than it actually is in the movie. But like, yeah, everything is solved. Skate better.
I think this movie aged beautifully. I loved watching it with my kids. They were extremely invested in like the grand finale race, like out of their seats cheering.
Yes.
Cheering for our characters.
Team Pub and Subs.
How does this rate against, so a movie from I feel like Shelly and Devin now have to watch and come back and watch and talk about with us BMX Bandits.
BMX Bandits. It's
Because
very different. There's no like crime
but that's what I'm saying. BMX Bandits is an Australian movie. It's weirdly dark at times. BMX Bandits, it is Nicole Kidman's first ever movie. So she's like a teenage actor in this movie.
They're older than these kids, right? They're maybe older.
Yeah. No, I think they're 15.
PJ always seemed like he was 30, but who knows? They could have been 15 when they made that movie. We don't know what in the 80s. Like they always look older than us. Anyways, BMX Bandits. You've got to watch BMX Bandits and then come back on the show and talk about it with us. I would say from a plot standpoint, that's about as close as you can get to what you've just described to me.
That's awesome. We'll have to watch it.
But I thought it was really fun and enjoyable.
You know what the tagline on the poster was?
Skate better.
It takes a champ to stay in line. Inline skating.
Oh, because they don't call it rollerblading. Sorry, they call it inline skating.
Was rollerblading like a trademark?
Rollerblades were already a name though, because rollerblades. I had one pair of rollerblades.
Were they blades or blods?
Mine were blades.
They weren't roller blods.
Becky, did you find it surprising whenever he joined Team X Blods? He thought he could fool his entire team by putting on sunglasses. He's like, they'll never recognize me rollerblading the same style I do. I'm going to put these sunglasses on. I'm just like,
completely
no, because he tells his team not to show up that day. He still is on both teams, captain of the Soul Skaters. He then fakes sick and tells his whole team not to even show up to the competition. That's like the snakiest move ever.
Yeah, that was not a friend move. Not
cool. But if there were any like pictures or whatever, yeah, he's wearing sunglasses, so no one will recognize him.
It's wild.
Okay. I gotta bet Lily, you have to watch BMX Bandits with Shelly and Devin while they're there.
My pleasure.
Awesome.
Please. I need video reaction coverage of this. Okay. Now we always like to end our show with shout outs and recs. Now, obviously, Shelly and Devin recommend all the DCOMs, but is there anything else you both have been watching that you think people should watch?
We recently started, this is complete opposite of anything related to the DCOMs. We started Your Honor. It's with Bryan Cranston from
That's funny. Someone else was talking about that yesterday. That
looks good. How is it?
The first season we flew through. It's like not light at all. It's really dark. It's really heavy, but it's really good drama. And he is so good at playing this character of like doing like wrong, immoral things like for his family.
It's like
it's like that theme again, like classic, where it starts off as like
classic Cranston.
So we watched that recently. We've been watching House of Dragon. And I've been doing a rewatch of Shameless for fun, which is, has its moments. And we're going to try to get back on Legend of Korra and pick up where we left off with that.
Did you never finish it? No, Devin must have finished it years ago.
I'm sad that I still need to watch, I believe, the last season of Legend of Korra.
Yeah.
Well, the last season of Legend of Korra is really intense. I think the third one is like universally considered the best one, but the last one is, man, the arc. Korra's arc that is an arc from the beginning to the end of that show is one of the biggest payoffs ever.
We're going to see the live orchestra of Avatar, which will be fun.
Oh, at the
Met.
At the Met. But Avatar: The Last Airbender. They're playing some of the most iconic scenes and then having a live orchestra.
Oh, okay. You're not going to watch 3 seasons of the show. I mean, that might be amazing.
I would.
I would.
Music's incredible for that. Okay. Let's, Becky, what have you been watching?
Presumed Innocent.
Yeah, I finished.
We'll do a Presumed Innocent wrap up maybe next week.
Yeah, I finished.
We feel like we're going to break that down.
Innocent. I mean, I can tell you, I get so many ads for Cobra Kai, and I want to watch it. I want to enjoy watching it. And there's some scenes that are really, really fun and sweet and endearing. And that show is for someone. I just don't know if I like skip over big chunks of storylines.
But obviously the Danach dude scenes are amazing.
Anything with the kids, basically the parts that are still adorable and fun to watch are the kids, and the stuff with Daniel and Johnny are super fun. Like that all holds up. But like there's so many side stories with Kreese and some evil master, and he might be training in Japan or he might be in Milwaukee. Like I don't know what's going on. Like
you've still never seen Karate Kid Part 3. I feel like you are missing.
Of course I've seen Karate. No, I haven't.
You have to see Karate Kid Part 3 to understand the Terry Silver character. That is
Terry Silver's not in it so far. But Kreese, but like I love the guy that plays Kreese, but I just story-wise it's a little hard. But there are so many.
I love Martin Cove.
Yeah, I love him. So I've, mostly I just finished Presumed Innocent, and I been watching Olympic surfing the last few days. That's what's the only kind of like Olympic sport I can really have the stomach to watch. So that's the one I've been watching, Olympic surfing.
What is Lily? What about you?
I started Lady in the Lake with Shelly and Devin. We're watching.
Oh, that's Natalie Portman.
What else are you doing without me? What else are you doing without me?
At night, we watch that as our show.
That sounds like so much fun.
That seems very intense. I don't have the emotional strength for that. It looks amazing, though.
Yeah. We're watching it late at night with Spanish subtitles, and
Shelly and Devin are confused.
We're just,
I haven't.
With English
subtitles. I haven't been able to finish The Boys.
This boys season was incredible.
I know it's just that like already some really horrific stuff has happened, and you keep telling me that even worse.
Episode 6 is one of the grossest things I've ever seen.
I just I don't know if I want to have that burned into my brain.
But I will say what's amazing about episode 6 is, as gross as it is the things that are either talked about or intimated that are the most disgusting in that episode. Wait,
I'm worried. I don't want it to seem like I'm not talking badly about Cobra Kai. I'm just saying that I think only parts of that show are my algorithm, and I watch those parts of the show.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm waiting till it finishes, and then I'm going to go back and watch the rest. I was getting too frustrated. Like, I needed to know how it ends, so I got to go back. And
there are parts of the story that I like, and I think, there's some changes for the current season that are really great and fun, and overall make it like a joy to watch. It reminds me of the first season in some ways. So I just want to be clear on that.
All right, Lily,
talking Cobra Kai.
Right. So Lily's watching Natalie Portman.
Yeah.
And Brett Gelman.
It's weird. It's definitely weird, right?
There's a lot happening.
Yeah, it's not a clear-cut mystery. There's a lot of...
We haven't gotten to the third episode yet. So.
Is it a mystery? I thought it was about her moving to another part of town.
No, not quite.
I don't think she made a whole show on Apple TV about her moving across town.
I mean, that's one of the stories.
It's about 2 murders. She's a housewife from a Jewish neighborhood in 1966 in Baltimore. From the Orthodox neighborhood, moves into the black neighborhood. She's having a...
Oh, I thought it was really just about that.
No. There's 2 murders that are involved.
Oh, okay.
She's kind of... I don't know how she's involved. I don't know if she's caught in the middle, but...
Yeah, it's still kind of being unraveled.
She's sort of trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay. That sounds really cool.
Jewish culture, race, stuff in the 60s, and... It's a lot, but it's
pretty. Some parts are pretty vile. You're like, wow.
Yeah, she's really intense.
She's obviously excellent.
Baltimore is a great setting for those.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So Allie and I saw Twisters in the theater.
Was it good?
It's with it's plural.
Twisters, because I
there are many.
I mean, there are. But there's many in the original Twister also. It's just it's like Alien and Aliens. It was a good name for it. I'm not into disaster movies that much. I never have been. It's never been my thing. Man versus nature weirds me out a lot of the time because it's just overwhelmingly scary and real. So I come into this saying that the first Twister, I love Bill Paxton and Helen Hunt. That's what I love most about it. And in this movie, similarly, Daisy Edgar Jones, Glenn Powell, Anthony Ramos, Karen Shipka, they're all fantastic in this movie. I love them. The twistery stuff is a lot of people die in this movie. I mean, people are getting sucked into the twisters right and left in this movie. But
the concept of like trying to film a tornado.
I mean, visually, this thing is Lily,
they're not filming real tornadoes. It's CG.
I know, but the premise of the film is that
they're not trying to film them. They're trying to like do science stuff with them.
Okay, I think
they're like trying to get their meters.
There's a little bit more going on. There's a little bit more paying attention to like how people's lives are affected by tornadoes, and there's some cool Glenn Powell's whole. I don't need. Well, he is a scientist, but he's also a maverick kind of tornado rider, wrangler. In the social media age is pretty funny. I think my favorite part is definitely, so within this show, he has a YouTube channel. Within the movie, he has a YouTube channel, and they show you what they video for the YouTube channel. And honestly, it looks like an amazing YouTube channel. It's funny. It's exciting.
Wait, is there is that part of like the promo? Can you watch his fake YouTube channel?
Oh, that would have been brilliant.
That'd been amazing.
But I'm just not into. So it delivers on its promise, and it should be it deserves every accolade. Like, it's super fun visually. The effects are great. There's nothing, the acting's great. I'm just, again, natural disasters, not my thing. So I recommend it. It's a great big screen movie, super fun to see on the big screen. So I recommend that. I did watch Deadpool 1 and 2 with my children, which was a hilarious
to get ready?
Also, I don't even know if I can take them to see Deadpool 3 in the theater. I would say just that Deadpool 1 really is. You can't get the PG version. I had to buy it separately, so they haven't seen. As we watched the R-rated version, Deadpool 1 is pretty intensely R-rated. The sex stuff in it is not for. We fast forwarded a lot of that movie.
It's a love story. What are you talking about, Shai?
The violence is ridiculous, but the sex stuff is pretty wild. So we fast forwarded that. But the kids really want to see the third one. And then who recommended Bodkin? It was Becky?
Me. Yeah. Oh yeah, Bodkin.
Which I accidentally gave Lily credit to the other day in a text message. Yeah, Bodkin, I love Bodkin. Bodkin on Netflix.
I've been watching a little bit of that.
3 episodes into that. I love it. Podcasters solving mysteries. Perfect.
Podcasters solving mysteries, and then like the tension between a podcaster versus a journalist,
a real journalist,
and how frustrated they are with each other.
Yeah, where he just says
she doesn't appreciate the art of storytelling, and he's like,
nobody expects the podcaster to find out the mystery. It's so funny. Have you ever listened to one of those true crime podcasts where they find out the mystery?
He's not trying to. He's like, I'm just trying to create
But it's a good small town Broadchurch kind of mystery also. Like, it's funny, but it is like one of these great
dark
Broadchurch style mysteries. Okay. So with that, I love you guys. It was a lot of fun. DCOMS, whole genre I never knew. Yeah. And have a great day. Love you. Bye.
Love you. Happy birthday, Devin. Happy birthday, Devin.
Happy birthday.
Thanks for having us, Shai.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to Friday Night Movie, the sibling rivalry and pop culture podcast. Join the Friday Night Movie family by following @FryNightMovie on all of the socials and visiting our website, FryNightMovie.com. Our theme song is by What Does It Eat? And make sure to leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. Thanks for listening.